The SOS came through as a whisper, not a scream, 3 short bursts of static, then a voice trying not to break. Ranger element pinned. Grid going dark. We're running out of time. The transmission cut off mid-breath, leaving the command post silent except for the soft hum of electronics and the weight of what everyone already knew. If help didn't arrive soon, those men would not be coming home. They were deep in the mountains, a narrow valley shaped like a clenched fist, rock walls closing in on every side. The Rangers had gone in light and fast, expecting a snatch and grab, not a nest of hostiles dug in like roots. Now they were surrounded, ammunition thinning, casualties mounting. The sun was sinking, shadows stretching long and cruel across the ridgeline. Night would help the enemy. Night always did. In the back of the operations room, a quiet figure stood apart from the frantic movement. She had been there for hours, watching feeds that blinked in and out, listening more than speaking. Staff Sergeant Mara Vance didn't look like the answer to anything. No raised voice, no dramatic entrance, just a slim woman in a faded jacket, hands folded loosely, eyes steady. She had earned a reputation for silence. Some said it was arrogance, others said fear. The truth was simpler. Mara spoke when it mattered. The commander turned, desperation sharpening his tone. Air can't get in. QRF is 2 hours out. If they push before then, he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Mara stepped forward. I can reach them. A few heads turned. Someone scoffed softly. The valley was a sniper's nightmare. Wind shear, broken sightlines, thermal clutter. From where? The commander asked, already tired. She pointed to a thin, jagged line on the map. That spine, Old Shepherd's Trail, gives me overwatch on the north slope. If I move now, I'll be set before full dark. The room went still. It was a long shot. A dangerous one, but the alternative was worse. Take what you need, the commander said. I already have it, Mara replied. The climb began with burning lungs and bleeding hands. The trail was barely a memory carved into stone, loose gravel sliding under every step. She moved alone, pack light, rifle wrapped tight against her body like a promise. As she climbed, fragments of her past surfaced uninvited. Long hours on ranges where instructors told her she was too small, too quiet, too slow to speak up. The first time she'd missed a shot under pressure and watched a teammate get wounded. The nights she'd lain awake, replaying that moment until dawn. At the ridge, the wind greeted her like an old enemy. She crawled the last meters, belly to stone, then settled into the earth. Below her, the valley breathed, flickers of movement, heat signatures blooming and fading. The Rangers were clustered near a rock outcrop, return fire sporadic now. Hostiles moved with confidence, tightening the circle. Mara steadied her breathing. She adjusted for wind, for distance, for the way the air bent around the mountain. Her world narrowed to the scope, to the calm space she'd learned to build inside herself. In that space, fear had no voice. The first shot was almost gentle. A sentry dropped without a sound, surprise frozen on his face. No alarm, no panic, just absence. She waited. The second shot took a man leaning out to signal, his arms still raised as he fell. Confusion rippled through the enemy line. Voices rose, sharp and questioning. The third shot answered them. One by one, the hostiles began to disappear. Mara moved with patience, never rushing, never firing twice from the same angle. She watched patterns emerge, then broke them. Each pull of the trigger was deliberate, a thread cut clean. Down below, the Rangers felt it before they understood it. Pressure eased, fire slackened. A voice crackled over their comms, disbelief bleeding into hope. We've got cover. Unknown shooter. They're dropping. Hold, came the reply from command. Help is here. As darkness fell, the valley belonged to shadows and quiet. Mara stayed with them, eyes aching, fingers numb, heart steady. When the enemy tried to regroup, she was already there, waiting. When they attempted a flanking move, she stopped it cold. The mountains seemed to breathe with her, each shot an exhale. Hours later, boots thundered up the valley floor. The QRF arrived to find the enemy broken and fleeing, the Rangers alive, bruised, bleeding, but breathing. Medics moved fast, hands sure. Laughter broke out, shaky and exhausted. Mara didn't move until she was told to. She packed up in silence, slipping back along the ridge like she'd never been there at all. At dawn, as the sun painted the mountains gold, she finally reached the extraction point. The commander was waiting. He didn't offer a speech. He simply nodded, respect heavy in his eyes. One of the Rangers stepped forward, bandaged dark with dried blood. We owe you our lives, he said, voice rough. Didn't even know you were there. Mara shrugged, a small, tired smile touching her lips. You sent an SOS, she said. I answered. Later, as the helicopters lifted and the valley shrank beneath them, the Rangers sat in stunned quiet. They would talk about that night for years, the moment hope returned, the invisible hand that held the line when everything else fell apart. They would remember the lesson burned into their bones, that strength doesn't always shout, that heroes don't always stand in the light. Sometimes, the difference between life and death is a quiet sniper on a cold ridge, listening closely, waiting for the moment when everything depends on one steady breath, and choosing, without hesitation, to act.